Wuthering Waves struck gold at endgame discussion. All right, let's take a look.
All right. In most of the mainstream gachas nowadays, you're always given something to shoot for in terms of account progression.
Yep.
This is usually considered endgame content that gives you a bunch of enemies to defeat with ever-increasing health pools as—
Bro, Whimpering Wastes was low-key— Bro, everybody kept shitting on this game mode. Yes, it's very similar stuff to every other endgame, right? But I kind of like the weird chess pieces that just make you be able to do a shitload of damage, dude. It was kind of fun. It was decent. It wasn't anything groundbreaking, of course. And it didn't really add any extra layers of fun to the end game, but people that were saying it was just downright worse than all the other end games, I'm like, really? I feel like it at least added something.
As you go to higher—
I think it's better than TOA any day of the week. I think Tower of Adversity is by far the worst endgame mode in WoW.
higher difficulty stages with a timer on top of that to make it even more difficult.
Yeah.
In Genshin, which was the originator of this newer system, this endgame content would be the Abyss, Imaginarium Theater, and more recently, Stygian Onslaught.
Stygian
in
Onslaught,
HSR, it'd be stuff like Memory of Chaos and Pure Fiction, and even some of the newer games that haven't released yet, like NTE, have the exact same thing with their version of Genshin's Abyss.
It's the biggest piece of dog shit.
Basically—
Oh, I didn't even know NTE had that, dude. I'm excited for when gacha games start coming out and like breaking the mold for endgame and doing their own thing. Did you all hear? Apparently Tower of Fantasy dropped their gacha. Like, the game still exists, but they're making it into just an MMO now, not a gacha game. Very interesting, and makes me actually curious to try it out whenever they do it globally. It's only CN right now, I think.
You're slapped in an arena, you're given a time limit, and if you don't have the damage or the characters that are necessary to clear, well, that sucks for you. Better luck next time, or better luck after you get whatever characters you need for that content.
Yup.
For the most part, this isn't actually content that people enjoy. Like, it takes a special kind of person to be excited to jump into HSR's MOC and slam their head into a multi-million HP enemy.
Yeah,
but regardless of which game you're playing, they offer rolling currency as an incentive for players to actually do it. So while people might not want to do it, they usually still end up doing it for that currency. Wuthering Waves is—
Gotta get that currency, bro. And here's the thing that always makes me laugh, dude. And I gotta admit, listen, this is coming from a privileged standpoint. However, I think it makes sense at the same time, right? People will— like, free-to-play is different. Free-to-play is different. But people who are light spenders and even whales, they will spend $100, $200, $300, sometimes $400 for one character to do these endgame modes. Bro, the rewards that you get from getting like the max stars on these endgame modes, it would take you like— we worked it out, and in Genshin, I think it'd take over a year of Spiral Abyss 36 stars just to be able to guarantee one 5-star. Not even a guaranteed in like, I'm talking 90 pulls. It's like the rewards ain't that worth it to be whaling for the end game. It really ain't.
Isn't immune to this either, because it actually has the same kind of content too. Their Tower of Abyss is basically directly ripped off of Genshin's Abyss for better—
Tower of Abyss, I mean, it basically is.
Better for worse, and Whimpering Wastes is essentially their version of HSR's Pure Fiction with significantly more waves of enemies to defeat than their tower modes have.
Fair.
Recently though, WoW has been doing something a little bit different, and I think it's absolutely worth talking about because it's actually breaking the mold of this cookie-cutter gacha formula for endgame that we've—
Wait, what else have they been doing other than holograms for endgame? Other than these that he's just mentioned,
had ever since Genshin released. They actually released 2 modes that are currently just running as events.
Oh, the event, dude. Oh, okay, this isn't endgame, but if they made this endgame, dude, oh my god, Virtual Crisis is so fucking fun. It is so good.
One of which is called Virtual Crisis, and the other is called Banners Never Fall.
Yeah.
I would definitely consider Virtual Crisis to be more of an endgame event than the other, but they both have massive potential for changing the game of how we all play endgame and gachas like this.
They do.
In short, both of these modes offer unique things that iterate on different core aspects of gameplay, and
I actually haven't played the other one yet, I don't think.
More importantly, they both offer a means for the player to decide how they want to interact with each of the different game modes. And I want you to remember that point, because I'll come back to it later. Let's first dive into talking about Virtual Crisis. This is a game mode that essentially acts as a boss rush, where there's 4 different bosses you can fight, and all of them are slightly different from their overworld versions with new movesets and new mechanics.
Yeah.
Before you fight them though,
the new movesets threw me off, bro, like heavily.
You need to unlock a few things. There's actually 8 stages to clear prior to fighting those bosses, and you need to clear all of them because they give you things to change the difficulty of the boss fights.
Yep.
See, this is an event where it's not actually designed in a way where you need to beat the bosses under a certain amount of time, and realistically, basically, you don't need to have specific units just to beat a stage.
True. They actually didn't they just give the I used like the trial units that they gave you every single time to see if I could do it, and I did all the way through to the end. Even the optional like super hard difficulties. The trial characters are decent. There was only one where I was like, wow, the trial character here fucking sucks. And I think it was against Flood. I can't remember.
This event is actually designed in a way where you can clear it with anyone in as much time as you want at any difficulty level that you choose.
Oh, what do you mean there's no timer and you can just take your time and make sure you're good at the game and dodge and perfect dodge and learn parry timings to utilize the lack of timer so that you can beat the game mode with anybody? What do you mean? That's a thing? You took the timer away and it was fun? Really? Really? Are you sure?
And I want to reiterate that, at any difficulty level that you choose. Those things you were unlocking earlier, those are difficulty modifiers.
Oh, now I know why I thought this was fun. Yeah, I think a lot of people didn't even realize there was no timer, bro.
But they're also modifiers that you don't have to add onto the different boss stages if you don't want to.
Yup.
With nothing added, I mean, it's basically an overworld fight that you'll be able to clear very quickly. But depending on what you choose, you could be adding more HP to the boss. You could be lowering your own stats. You could be changing how mechanics of the fights work so that different parts of it are more important than others, and
there was some super interesting ones, bro. I remember it was like the bubbles that bro, I always forget the name of that one boss, Lorelei. The bubbles that she makes in that fight, like if they hit you, it saps your energy or stamina like 100%. Bro, that fucked me so many times, but it was so fun.
You could even add new mechanics to the bosses on top of what they have in their base fights. This makes each and every fight unique to the player that's doing it, at least assuming they're not going for the max score, and even better, it makes it accessible to almost everyone.
This, by the way, the Phalian Berengal, the fucking monkey, was the hardest hologram that I fought from the baseline holograms. Just because it took me so long to understand that these...
Assuming they're not going...
the secondary fucking hologram monkeys that come out were actually tied to specific skills, so I could like look at what skill he was doing and know when this was going to happen. It was so tough for me, but I did it.
The max score, and even better, it makes it accessible to almost everyone, right? Like, if you're a new player and you want to take on the bosses with your underleveled characters, then there's nothing wrong with doing that.
Amazing. You could use a level 1 character and do it, bro. This is exactly what you've been asking for with all the mechanics. It is exactly what I've been asking for. You're correct.
You can just take not as many modifiers as an endgame player would. And if you want to push into those higher difficulty levels with more modifiers as a new player anyway, well, they give you trial characters that you can use that will help you do it. On the other hand, maybe you've got a developed account, but you're not a sweaty gamer that wants to clear the extremely difficult stuff. Well, in your case, you only have to take some of the modifiers. And for those sweaty gamers, you can take all of them, and the game actually gives you props for doing so through giving you a cosmetic title that tracks your total score in the event.
Another thing that I love, dude, the fact that they added titles into the game. Bro, I am going to be playing again Elder Scrolls Online for the first time in like a year. But it's the MMO that I've probably got the most time in general over the years. I think I've probably got over 2,000, 3,000, maybe even close to 4,000 hours in Elder Scrolls Online. You could do title farming, you could do skin farming, you could do the veteran challenges to get even more skins and polymorphs to change your whole character. I love that shit, bro. Being able to rep something in the game, whether it's a title, a skin, or something else that can show other players that you've done a certain achievement. It feels narcissistic, but it's so fucking cool, dude. It's so fun.
On top of this, to get all the rewards from the event, you don't actually have to clear the full thing. If you're someone that's not aiming to be sweaty and go for max difficulty, there's daily challenges that you can do that will give you currency you need to purchase things in the shop. And as long as you, do them, you'll easily be able to fully clear it out, especially with the trial characters that they give you.
Definitely.
All of this is actually so awesome because it puts the power in the player's hand to decide how they want to go at each thing. Like I said, everyone that isn't going for max score will end up with a completely different fight than another person because they get to choose how difficult the fight will actually be.
Yeah, I think I tried one max, but I actually made it quite far, but I messed up the team. I tried it with Fleur-de-Lis, and I used Cardathea, and the damage was just non-existent, dude. I read it wrong. Gacha gamers can't read, bro. But I thought it said that I had an advantage for some reason for picking Cardathea, but obviously it meant you fucking stupid ass, you're literally fighting yourself. You're gonna have a fucking disadvantage because the same element and resistance is, you stupid bitch. And I just did not listen to that.
But with that said, while the event is accessible, the true goal of the event is to clear it at the highest difficulty you can. Like, this is meant to be truly difficult content, and it's essentially just bragging rights if you can do it. And personally, I think that's a great way to do endgame content.
Me too!
You can keep the base rewards.
It's great. Even with the Genshin weapon skins and stuff, bro, I do think it's good. If Genshin removed the timer and made it like this, bro, it'd be insanely good. Oh my god, I'd love that so much.
Accessible to everyone, but you give the players that want more the opportunity to play more.
Can you imagine, dude? Can you imagine in Genshin Impact if Sticky and Onslaught released without the timer? Can you imagine the fucking memes, the craziness that would have come out of this shit if people like solo fucking Zhanglinged the bosses and it took like an hour and a half or something? Bro, it'd be so funny. It'd be so funny.
And is actually one that's taken from another gacha game called Arknights, and in that game they used to run something called Contingency Contract. It worked in the exact same way. You take different difficulty modifiers that will change how the stage plays, and after a certain level of difficulty, it's no longer about the rewards and more so just about, well, can you clear it? For me personally, back when I played Arknights, I was someone that always chased after the highest difficulty levels possible in Contingency Contract because it gave me an avenue to express skill and more importantly gave me...
Guys, is Arknights playable as like a kind of AFK game? Like, could I use Arknights as a second monitor game while I'm doing other shit? Like if I'm working or doing other videos, is it doable like that because it's tower defense or nah? Do I have to pay attention while it's playing? I like AFK games. That's why I liked AFK Journey so much. Yeah, no, yeah. Ooh, it's tower defense, probably not. Yeah, you got to pay attention. Daily, yes, but mission, no. Fair. I mean, that makes sense for story stuff, but for like end, it can be quite hard. Okay, never mind then. Yeah, that's fair. That's fair. I'll probably give it a try at some point.
Something to really strive for as a means to gauge my account's progression. Like, not everyone is going to be able to clear content like this, but personally, I think that's fine.
Yeah.
Content doesn't have to be clearable by everyone to still be meaningful for the people that can. With that said, I do have to say that it's not without faults, though. Unlike Arknights, which is a tower defense game, Wuwa is a real-time action game where knowing what's actually going on your screen is extremely important.
Yep.
In this mode, though, there are definitely times...
This fucking boss, bro, Jesus Christ. I got ruined. I got ruined like twice, dude. ADHD maxing with an AFK game with a second monitor, 100%, bro, 100%. I'm prime second monitor content. Guys, I uploaded my 1 hour 40-minute reaction to Mujine's video the other day, and during the video, at 1 hour 16 minutes or something in the video, I said, I think I'm prime second monitor content. If you're still watching at this point, please comment in the comment section with the timestamp. I think the majority of comments on that video is people commenting with the timestamp telling me that I'm prime second monitor content. Some people even relegated me down to mobile fucking content, bro. They said my second monitor's already got something else on it, so I got you on my phone. Like, fucking hell, man. We're at a new high and a new low. It's kind of crazy.
Where visual clarity can be a complete mess. I mean, look at this. Can you actually tell me what's going on here? Alongside that, while the difficulty modifiers are great, I do think Wuwa needs to be more careful with them so that they're challenging, but not annoying or super restrictive. For example, I would consider an annoying modifier this one from the Fleur-de-Lis.
When Fleur-de-Lis is at low health, she gains a shield equal to 50% of her max HP. Different zones on the field provide various buffs for resonators.
Fight where she gains a massive shield once you hit low HP. It effectively acts as another health bar that you have to chunk through, which isn't the most fun thing to deal with.
But okay. If it was just the shield, I agree. But it said...
Annoying modifier, one from the Fleur-de-Lis.
Different zones of the field provide various buffs for resonators. I think as long as, like, if there's a little zone on the field that does, like 100% extra damage, but only the shields, then that's fine. Because then you can lure the boss to that specific part. You're forced to fight in a confined area, so you have to dodge and parry, and then you can get rid of the shields faster. That's a way to benefit that specific modifier, so it'd be cool. There was one, something like that. Yeah, I don't know if there was, but if there was, then I think that's fine.
Part that you have to chunk through, which isn't the most fun thing to deal with.
Oh my.
Without that, it'd suck ass, though.
God, bro. Oh, hell no, man. What the fuck?
I would consider a restrictive modifier to be the one that lowers your total stamina. Some characters...
Oh god, yeah, that sucked. I'll keep it a buck. The lower stamina sucks, especially because you really do need to dodge a lot in Wuwa, bro. You need to dodge a lot, and then also charge attacking and stuff in combat. Like the lower stamina ones really hurt. I still think it's obviously artificial difficulty at that point. I still had fun, and I didn't notice it that much. But I definitely noticed it.
For example, Camellia have an upfront stamina cost to use some of their abilities.
Yeah.
If you combo that with the fact that you have less overall stamina, it makes it extremely difficult to actually play her compared to the other options you may have.
For sure.
And that's including the other options that might even be going up against resistance, for example, using Cartethia against the monkey boss.
Okay, but I mean, just don't. Wait, I'm confused about this one. Hold
For
on.
example, using Cartethia against the monkey boss.
The element resistances wasn't that noticeable, though. I disagree. Like I say, I used Cartethia to fight Fleur-de-Lis. It was very fucking noticeable compared to others. You have all of the trial characters here that are very well built and stuff as well. So even if you only have Fleur-de-Lis like leveled up or Cartethia leveled up, then you could just use one of these. Like you don't have to use the characters that the enemy's resistant to. But if you want to make the challenge even harder for yourself, then that's fine, but you're doing it to yourself at that point,
The
right?
other options that might even be going up against resistance, for example, using Cartethia against
Unless I might be misunderstanding this entire point, by the way, very easily, because this feels like a no-brainer to me.
the monkey boss. Despite those minor grievances, I do really wish gacha games had more content just like this so that players are not only given more agency in how they handle difficult content, but also just as a means to actually have truly difficult content in the game that isn't actually necessary to clear for the casual player. Currently, this event is only ran twice in WoW, but personally, I think this would be a banger endgame, and I really do.
I do too. But here's the thing. People said that for Genshin as well about previous events. They were like, this would make for a phenomenal endgame. Even fun events like Wind Trace and stuff, right? People were like, this would make phenomenal, like, a permanent addition to the game. And I'm like, this is no shade, slight shade. But like, the first thing that got added since Spiral Abyss that could be classed as anything like permanent or endgame was TCG. It wasn't any of the stuff that was like that was asked for previous. It was something totally new. Hopefully we can kind of break the mold there as well. If people ask for this as like an end game thing, a permanent addition to the game, that would be kind of cool. And man, that sucked. A lot of people really like the TCG, to be fair. I liked it for a little bit, but it just got too stale for me too quickly. When they do that in WoW, where they run potential end game as trial events like this, like Whimpering Wastes was an event before. Was it? Oh, interesting. Maybe. Yeah, I don't know. You'll be surprised by how many daily active TCG players. Yeah, I don't think I would be. A lot of people really like the TCG, dude. A lot of people do.
I hope that Kuro continues to iterate on how this event works going forward and doesn't leave it by the wayside. Now, let's talk about the other event that's been running this patch, Banners Never Fall. As I mentioned,
okay, I haven't played this one yet. I don't think I should.
And earlier, this one definitely feels less like Endgame than Virtual Crisis does, but I still think it's worth talking about as a means to discuss what Endgame could be.
Okay.
In short, this mode involves you roaming around the city of Septimon in-game, fighting groups of enemies in different zones that each control a banner. After defeating the enemies and claiming the banner for yourself, you gain buffs to use as you move on to the next one, meaning you get
Is this fucking domination from COD?
progressively stronger as you claim more zones. For example, at the start, your ultimate ability might only be doing 100,000 damage, whereas by the end, it could be doing upwards of 1,000,000, if not more than that. On paper, this is just a fun mode that iterates on the exploration aspect of the game, right? Like you're taking back a city as you explore it and you come across different banners, and while doing so, you get a bit of a power fantasy as you progress and become stronger. But my thought is, why does it have to be just that? Like, I don't think this would fit cleanly into the game as a recurring endgame mode, but I do think it has potential to be something really special if it was iterated on beyond the base it has now.
I mean, they could easily just keep making this better as an event, right? And then when it gets to a point where people are like, okay, now this is good. This is what we need. Make this permanent. They could then just make it permanent, maybe. That could be a good way to do it.
For example, if you want to keep the event the exact same in terms of gameplay, you could make it not necessarily timed in the way that the Tower of the Abyss is, where you need to clear within a certain time frame, but more like a time trial where you start from 0 and you try to clear as fast as possible with your final time ending up on some kind of leaderboard.
Yeah.
In the same way that the Virtual Crisis event is extremely accessible.
Is this even timed? Is there even a timer? I don't see one.
Well, this could be too. The casual players will just enjoy the power fantasy bit and the exploration that comes with it, whereas the sweaty players will be going super hard and trying to speedrun as quickly as they can. To take it a step further, each zone could be marked out with different buffs. Like in one region, you could get fusion buffs, which makes that a priority for you to take out if you're running that kind of team. And again, similar to the Virtual Crisis event, this would make each and every player's run different, because the path that you would take entirely depends on the units that you as the player would want to use.
Okay.
Taking it even further, the mode could be opened up to other regions. For example, what if we had this same mode, but it happens back in Huanglong? This could open up the mode to be seasonal rather than on a set schedule like the current.
Seasonal endgaming gacha. How would y'all feel about that? Let me think on that for a minute.
Tower or Wiwa is.
I think that'd be a cool thing, dude.
Each of the different seasons could be in a new region, like the first one is in Septimont, but
Oh, I kind of fucking dig this.
But then we go to Huanglong, then Raguna, then the Black Shores, and so on. There could also be new buffs with each season that may incentivize players to use different units, and the monsters you fight could also be themed after the region you're playing in. On top of that, what if the mode was playable in co-op, whether through matchmaking or with your friends? This could open up the game mode to be something truly different, because in most of the mainstream gachas, there's not really a whole lot you can actually do with your friends, and this absolutely has the potential to be a great fit for that. Like, you could go into one region claiming the fusion buffs, but your friend could go into the Spectra region, and your third could roam around and help both sides, and then you meet up to fight all the different bosses as you
That sounds lit.
progress through the different zones and claim all the banners. Basically, what I'm trying to get across here is that this is a mode unlike what I've personally seen in any other gacha, but it's also a
Limbus pretty much has that, really.
mode that I had a ton of fun with and see a lot of potential for. There are so many different avenues that they could take this gameplay down, even if it isn't as an endgame mode, and I really do hope that going forward this is brought back in the future so that we can experience it again, and hopefully in a different way. All in all, I have to say I was actually extremely impressed with both of these events in WUA, and I see all the potential I've been talking about with these modes because, quite frankly, I am sick and tired of the cookie-cutter gacha endgame that's become the norm since Genshin popularized it with the Abyss.
Yeah.
This style of endgame is 5 years out of date at this point, and
I'm sure plenty of other games popularized it far before Genshin. I'm sure they took inspiration from other games, to be fair, but just something new would be very, very nice at this point.
Change, or just to get variance in gameplay, is one that I will definitely jump into and support in any way I can, because these different game modes that WUA released are really something different. Like, yeah, they might be rough around the edges right now, but if they were iterated on, they could really end up being something special. The amount of agency given to the player in these modes, whether that's through personalizing your difficulty in Virtual Crisis, or even something simpler like choosing a different path than another player would in Banners Never Fall, is actually so awesome to see, because it's not something that we've seen in other mainstream games.
So is Banner Never Fall co-opable or not? Like, can you go in with like a group of 3 and one person go one way, another go another go another way, and then you can meet up by the final boss? Or is it just like referencing the fact that you can choose a different path to other players? Sadly, no. That'd be cool if they added that in the future, right? That'd be kind of sick. You could go clear one area, your friend could do another one, the other friend could do the other. You could all solo it and then just meet up for the big final boss fight. That'd be kind of lit, dude.
Gachas as their form of endgame. Wuthering Waves genuinely struck gold here. They have the opportunity to be a game changer for the gacha space by iterating on these types of gameplay systems rather than falling in line and following the basic status quo that every other gacha seems to be doing with their endgames. Like, it is about damn time that we move away from the old and archaic tower systems we have now, and we start moving towards something that's new and fresh. What WUA has here is essentially unexplored territory that they can do so many different things with. It'll really all come down to the execution and whether or not they continue to run these modes, and I truly do hope—
The thing is, it's not only just execution, but with WUA, bro, it's also the fact that they typically do listen to player feedback, right? So even if it's not perfect on release, it probably will get enough improvements over the next like 2-3 months to a point where it actually does feel very, very nice if they were to do this.
Hope that they take this gold they found and mold it into something great. If there's any gacha company out there that can make something out of all this, I would definitely expect Kuro to be the ones to take that chance over most of the other ones, so here's to hoping they can be the change we need in the gacha space. Alongside
it's also, here's the thing, and here's what a lot of the like gacha player base don't really understand, I feel like. It's okay for a company to try something and it not be good. As long as they're then willing to listen and improve upon it, right? I think it's a good thing for a company to be willing to take risks, but then also be willing to improve on said risks if the company, if the community does not like the implementation or something. I think that's a good thing. I think it shows a lot of character, and I think it shows a lot of development as well. So yeah, I hope this is the case.
Hopefully going forward, gachas including all the ones I talked about in this video move away from the current mainstream style of endgame and take inspiration from these WUA modes. But as I mentioned, even newer ones like NTE are already following the garbage cookie cutter formula, so here's to hoping for Ananta and Arknight's Enfield, I guess.
Enfield, I'm looking forward to a bit more than Ananta, to be honest, because I haven't really seen too much of Ananta. I ain't gonna cap, bro. I thought NTE and Ananta pretty much were the same thing for a while. But Enfield, let's pretty go.
Anyway, that's all my thoughts, and I appreciate you listening if you made it this far, considering this is my first standalone video on Wuthering Waves. I'd love to hear your thoughts on these events if you played them yourself, so feel free to leave a comment down below or join my Discord link down in the description to talk with me about it. Good video, man. Good video.